Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you the basics of cross stitch. So we've got our needle threaded with 2 of the strands of embroidery thread, and you'll notice that I've got a short tail on one side near the needle, and then on the far side, it's just loose. There's no knot over here, and there's no knot anywhere along the thread. Generally in cross stitch, we want to keep everything nice and flat and clean so we don't tie knots on our thread, and instead we will tuck the tail underneath as we go to help secure the thread in place. So what I'm going to do, I just have a practice piece of Aida cloth. I'm going to come up through the back side. I'm going to say this is my back side, and I'm just going to pick any hole for now. And we want to try to make sure that all of the messy stuff ends up on the back and not the front of our work. So pull your thread until you have a short tail on the back side. Leave this here, and you might want to hold on to it a little bit so that you don't accidentally pull the thread right through. We're going to take a close look at our Aida cloth, and all of these holes, this is where our needle is going to go. And each of these, we're going to try to form an X with the thread. I'll show you what that looks like in this example here. You can see with the green thread, we formed a series of X's, and this will fill in the color on our cross stitch pattern. So, starting from this point, so we've got our tail on the back, there's no knot. On the front side, we're going to go diagonally across to another hole. We'll put our needle through, bring it to the back side, and still holding on to that tail, pull your thread until it forms one stroke of the X. Now this is the part that we need to remember when we're starting out, is we don't want this tail to go loose and start to unravel from our work. So when we go back up through the front side, we want our needle to end up coming out of this hole here or this hole here, because we are going to need the thread to basically form that other half of the X, a diagonal line that goes the other way. So look carefully and figure out which hole you'll need to choose from the back side so that you end up in the right place on the front side. So let's say we're going to go through here, and you can double check by turning to the front side before you push the needle completely through. Just check to see you're going to end up where you want to be. That looks good. And I'm going to start to pull this through. Now on the back, before you pull it tight, what we're going to try to make sure is that this tail ends up tucked underneath the stitch that we're making. So this here right now is just a loop. What I can do is position the tail so that it's going to be caught underneath the loop. And when I pull on this from the other side and tighten the stitch, you'll see that the loop is going to help hold the thread in place, the tail here. So when we're starting out, we want to do a few stitches where we're catching the tail underneath the stitch as we go to hold this in place. On the front side, let's see where we're at here. We've got our one half of the X. We came up through the front. Now we need to finish off the X, so we're going to go down through this hole, pull our thread tight, and then that will form our first cross stitch. So with our first stitch done, we can continue the process to fill in whatever we want to make the design that whatever we're following. For this is just practice, so I'm going to do another stitch right beside. So I'll figure out which hole I can come up through in order to get to the right place. We have several options, and you'll start to, with more experience, figure out what holes make sense to use. So I'm gonna go back down and form the diagonal line for another stitch. And just like before, on the back, I want to catch this tail so that it ends up underneath my stitches on the back side. So let's see where we need to end up on this side. And let's go. It's a little hard for you to see here. I'm gonna go through this hole over here. Double check that we're gonna come out in the right place, yep. And then pull that through. Oh, I lost my thread. So if you accidentally pull your needle off, no big deal. We're just gonna put it back on and then continue stitching. There we go. So we were going over here, and just like before, I'm gonna make sure that as I'm pulling this, the tail is gonna get caught underneath this loop as it tightens. So I just kind of preemptively pushed the tail into the right place and made sure that the loop was going over it. So what we want is for the tail then to go underneath the stitches at least a few times. I'd say like maybe 3 to 4 times is pretty good, and that'll make sure it stays in place. On the front side, we'll finish off our X. And there we go. So we've got 2 cross stitches, and you can start to build up to a larger design from here. You can switch colors, you can decide what you want it to look like, and when you are finished with a color, what you can do is basically the opposite of catching the tail underneath when we started. The ending part is going to be easier. So I'm going to show you with another design what to do when you want to finish with this piece of thread or with this color.